Hi, I'm Eugene Cap, and this is Capon Design TV. Today we're going to be doing an awesome VFX tutorial on how to do a magic arrow effect. I was at PAX not too long ago, and I met this awesome cosplayer, or at least she seemed awesome. I don't know her personally, but her name is KaraCorvus. You can go check her out. There's a link down below. She was nice enough to pose in her Fran outfit from Final Fantasy 12. It's been a long time. I believe that's correct. But anyway, I'm grabbing this footage. We're going to do this awesome tutorial. Let's just jump into it. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bring in our footage. I have this awesome piece of footage featuring this awesome cosplayer, amazing body armor, shooting an arrow for us. I believe she's Fran from Final Fantasy. I was more of an 8 guy than a 12. But anyway, and I've gone ahead and warp stabilized it for us. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and bring in a solid. So layer, new, solid. We want it to be black. I'm going to call it arrow light, because that's what it's going to do. It's going to be our arrow light. I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm going to go ahead and find just kind of a key point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start masking the arrow. Oh, you need to highlight the arrow light layer. So I'm just going to start covering, probably go by every 10 frames or so. And we're going to just start making some animation. So I'm going to hit mask path, go down 10 frames. I'm going to grab my selector tool. I'm going to start bringing corners, and I'm just going to start moving it around. And I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to jump to the point where we actually have all of this covered, just for time's sake. Okay, now that we have our mask all the way put up onto the arrow, just kind of frame by frame there, and then with the release, and then it goes out of just nowhere. Shift Control D if you want to cut a layer. Say you like move it past here and you can't really get to it, you can just hit Shift Control D and it'll actually cut the layer, or it'll break it up, much like you would do in like Adobe Premiere. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this Saber plugin, and Saber is actually a free plugin from Video Copilot. It's great for doing lightsabers and magic effects and lasers and, you know, magic things. And that's actually we're going to use it today. We're going to use it for magic. So now that we have this, oh, by the way, I turned the mode to screen. I don't know if I said that already, but to make this laser actually fit the mask that we had, it's going to follow it. So what we're going to do is go to custom core, and then we're going to go to layer mask. And now we have this kind of laser outline, which is pretty cool. But, you know, we don't have to get stuck with this. So it actually comes with like probably 30 presets. So you can actually go through and find what you like. Ooh, I actually like that portal. Yeah. Oh, that's nice looking. Awesome. But I'm actually going to double this up. And we can actually have something else. So like, I don't know what haze does. Let's see. Proton. What does that do? And maybe we'll shrink the core a little bit, or turn the core up. make it a mask core or mask glow. And maybe we don't want it to be blue. Maybe we want it to be kind of a yellow. And maybe we want some sort of evolution to go on. So we'll hit the mask evolution, move it up again. Man, that's pretty looking. That is just pretty looking. You can see like the smoke and all the little particles coming off of it. It's pretty neat. And maybe we want to add like a small flicker to it, to this one, so it, goes in. So it goes in and out. And turn up the glow intensity, maybe. Glow spread. That way it covers the feathers here. Oh, that's cool looking. Okay, so the next thing we're probably gonna do is I feel like it needs. This is light. We're on camera, so we're probably going to need an optical flare. Now, you can either use the stock one that Adobe After Effects has, but I like to use the professional one that's available. I'm going to go ahead and grab Optical Flare. This is another plugin from Video Copilot, except for this one actually costs money. You can use the stock one that Adobe After Effects comes with. It's not as pretty, and it's not as versatile, but this is what I like to use. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete a lot of this stuff. Kind of add a pulse. And global lighting. I'm going to make it blue. Alright, cool. And I'm going to grab this layer. I'm going to go to screen so people can see it. And I'm going to go ahead and figure out exactly where it all comes in. And I'm going to move it to the top. And I'm going to affect the brightness. Now I figure there's probably where it's at its max. Gonna go back probably 15 frames and make the brightness 0. So as it's all coming in, that brightness, so as the arrow is starting to light up, the flare is starting to. Now we're gonna go ahead and go through and start adding frames where it all comes in. So jump over, grab every so many frames, and I'm just going to keep it right off of camera. Right off of the composition, I mean. And as I'm going down, I'm just making sure that it doesn't jump all over the place for some reason. And as this is coming into focus, I'm going to move it directly onto it. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and turn the brightness off. That way it has some reminiscence of the arrow that was just shot. Like it's still illuminating until it's gone. Now, that's a great looking magic arrow so far. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to curve correct the footage just a little bit. So I'm going to go to curves. And I'm going to bring overall down just a little bit. I'm going to probably bring up the red just a little bit. Bring down the whole curves adjustment. And that way we have kind of this like fantasy vibe. We don't want it to be too out there. And what this is doing is it's making this arrow like really stand out by bringing up all the background colors for red. The blue arrow here is just, it's really popping. That's what we're doing. We're making it pop. Now, I feel like magic needs to leave like a trail for whatever reason. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to new layer, solid, black composition. We're going to call this particles, actually. I'm going to go ahead and name this one. And we're going to go to particle world. Now, when you first bring in particle world, it's going to look stupid. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to turn off all this extra crap. Now, I'm also going to shrink the layer to right up to where she lets go. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the particle. I do not like this red and yellow thing they got going on. Change it to kind of a blue, and I'm going to turn up the opacity. I'm going to turn from line to faded sphere. And you know what? This just doesn't match this enough. So let's go ahead and there we go, a little bit. I'm going to bring down the size of the particles a little bit. And then turn up the size variance to 100 and turn the opacity to 100. Now, it looks like it's already at its peak for whatever reason. So I'm going to change the birth rate to 0. And right as she lets go, I'm going to put in a keyframe for it. And I'm going to go release view, and I'm going to move it up to a little bit. There we go. And then right as it's out of frame, I'm going to go ahead and turn it to 0. Now, it looks like it's just kind of bursting from her wrist there, and that's not what we want. We want the producer to actually be in that area. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the position X value. I'm going to move it over. I'm going to hit keyframe. I'm going to move it to where it starts. And then as it releases, I'm going to move it further out. So that way it looks like the particles are being jettisoned from the arrow's release, which is actually what we want. Now, I feel like the gravity is on just way too high here. So we're going to go to physics, and I'm going to turn the gravity off, I'm going to change the resistance. I'm going to move it up a little bit. That way it doesn't jump all over the place as much. It looks like it's actually trailing now. Oh, it looks like the particles just kind of stay there and they don't really go away. That is part of the longevity. So we're going to turn down the longevity just a little bit to like a half second. Now as we scrub through the timeline again, it just looks like they're laying on top, so I'm going to move the particle layer and I'm going to put it underneath the lights. So when it pops off, it looks like they're coming out of the arrow and not just sitting on top. And then when we're done, we have something like this. So anyway, that's our tutorial for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Again, if you want those plugins that I talked about in this tutorial, there is a link down below. If you learned something from this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you've seen more than one of these videos before, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We're now in a relationship. Let's make it official. I'm Eugene Capon. This is Capon Design TV. I will see you in the next video.